Okay, starting with apologies. LaMelo Ball is not on this list. I hesitate to not just put him on this list because I know y'all like LaMelo Ball. Comment if you do. I remember Chris Vernon from the Ringer NBA show, now The Mismatch, saying when he was, I believe he was in France or he was in Japan, and he said he could not believe how many young kids were wearing LaMelo Ball jerseys. This was like 2 years ago. He is huge in other countries. And I think he's, I don't know, Gen Z people who watch this, is he huge with you? Do you really like LaMelo Ball? And I'm going to break it to you because I think you can handle it. And as much as I want to placate, give you the list you want, LaMelo Ball's not on this list. Mainly because he played 22 games last season. You got to play more games. A lot of times on these lists, you'll notice that guys that did not play a lot the season before aren't on the list. And that's why, because they didn't play. Also, if you look at the numbers and the stats that I went by, which I'm going to explain, he's not on there. He's not on the list. He's around 11 or 12, okay? If you count assists per game and the other ones I'm going to talk about in a bit. He's not there. He's not playing winning basketball. He's not getting assists. He has really great passing. He has incredible passes. They look really cool. We're going to talk about some flashy passers in here. LaMelo Ball is one of them, okay? I am sorry that he's not on the list. I do apologize. But leave a comment. Tell me if you're upset because, it's all good for getting this seen by everyone. So I apologize. He's not on the list. Now, you may see Tyrese Maxey on here and you're like, that's not like really what he does well. He's more of a scorer, and he definitely is. The part of Maxey's game that could use some improvement is, well, first of all, defense. Just being a better defender, just a better on-ball defender. He's good, but he can improve that. Also, he could get taller. He's not particularly tall. He can't really work on that, but it shows when you're watching Tyrese Maxey. His size on defense, if you're not going to be tenacious, you got to be larger. And he ends up having to guard larger guys. But offensively, his game, he could upgrade himself to Jalen Brunson, a Jalen Brunson level passer, even though he is good. He's on the list. He's the 10th best passer in the NBA. That's really good. It's awesome. He's really good. All these guys are incredible passers. Even number 10, the worst guy on this list, is incredible. But there's definitely room to grow for Tyrese Maxey. Y'all know what I'm talking about. He's incredibly fast. He is really good at getting his own shot. Love Tyrese Maxey. But the part of his game that could use some improvement is his ability to see people when he's driving. When he's driving the lane, his ability to see what options he has if there's someone that is taller in front of him. He doesn't quite have it. Again, excellent passer. I'm nitpicking because we're doing the best of the best. He made it. He made the list. Philly fans, go wild. I'll explain what these mean while we're on Tyrese Maxey. Assists, you know what that means. And he has 6.2 assists per game. It's not great if you're looking at guys who get a lot of assists per game. 6.2 isn't a lot, so that's why it's in red. Passes made, 60. It's decent. You'll get a perspective on it. The guy that has the most passes made per game has 74. So the fact that it's in black, that means it's good. It's fine. It's not in red. It's not in green. Green is really good, but it's good. So he makes a lot of passes per game. Potential assists, what do those mean? That means the assists you potentially could have got if everyone on your team that you passed the ball to was an incredible shooter, was a perfect shooter and made every shot. So potential assists just means that the guy missed, right? He either missed or he made. So adjusted assists, that's going to be your secondary assists. That's a hockey assist. I believe a hockey assist is when you pass the ball to a guy that got the assist, right? You were the first in the chain of a 2-link chain. You get the secondary assist. So it includes a secondary assist and a free throw assist. What's a free throw assist? You passed the ball to a guy. He got hacked. He went to the free throw line. And I believe he had to have made the free throw. Then you get a free throw assist. I don't even know if stat keepers necessarily know. Now we're getting into something so esoteric. I don't even know if the person that is keeping track of secondary or free throw assists would watch the guy make the first shot and say, there we go, that's a free throw assist. Or he misses the first shot, makes the second shot. Is it still a free throw assist? The stat keeper probably doesn't even know, do they? So that's what an adjusted assist is. It just means that it was either a free throw assist or a secondary assist, a hockey assist. And it's important, right? Because being a good passer, you may not get the assist. Assists aren't the end-all, be-all of being an incredible passer, right? Maybe you're an incredible passer and you don't even pass the ball that much. I don't know. And then assist to turnover, that's just the equation, right? That's just taking your turnovers and dividing them by your assists. Or taking your assists and dividing them by their turnovers. I haven't done math in so long that I actually forgot which side, the number you're dividing, and then the divider. I forgot which side went on which side. So you're basically taking the assists and you're dividing it by the turnovers. So ideally, it's a whole number, not a fraction. If it's not a whole number, that means you actually get more turnovers than assists. If you're actually in the, improper fraction. Not an improper fraction. That'd be like 4/3. You get a irrational number. I haven't been in a math class in 15 years. So, I don't know. Assists, points created, that just means those are the total points that you got from your assists. So, is it important? Jury's out. Basically, why I put these on here rather than just put assists, like you passed the ball and your teammate got points, I put that on here because you could be getting assists for 3-pointers versus 2-pointers. And a better pass is a pass to a guy that shot a 3-point shot. So assist points created is really important to me. So I put him on here. But Tyrese Maxey is low when it comes to assist points created. It's unfortunate. But still 10. Number 9, Brunson. Again, Brunson, I will tell you this though. There's another stat on NBA.com called most passes received. Brunson had the most passes received. And again, Brunson and Maxey are sort of in the same category. Why? Yeah, they're great passers. They're good near the rim. He's solid. He's one of the best point guards in the league. But he's a great scorer. He is not one of the best passing point guards in the league. If we're going top 5, he's maybe 6. But he's an incredible scorer. I'm just trying to not get people mad at me for saying Jalen Brunson is anything but incredible, because he is. But assists are not his thing. And he doesn't make a lot of passes, but he receives a lot of passes. What does that tell us? It tells us that he gets the ball passed to him a lot, and he shoots it. And he should shoot it. Look at his shooting stats. 40% from 3. Field goal percentage, 47%. Yeah, pass him the ball. Let him shoot. Don't let him assist. Because we got guys coming up on this list who assist over shooting. We got a lot of them, actually, who pass the ball when they should be shooting it. So, that is not Jalen Brunson. His assist to turnovers aren't great. Let's go back and look at Maxey's. 3.73. So, he's assisting over 3 times as much as he's getting a turnover. Brunson's are less. I think Brunson has the ball in his hands more often, though. But Brunson's assist to turnover is pretty low because his turnovers per game are 2.4. Again, he has low assists. So that's kind of... Does that make sense? He doesn't 2.4 turnovers a game isn't crazy. That's not a ton. But considering how many assists he has, that ratio doesn't look so hot. Are these stats making sense? Either way, we're talking about them. Not going to redo the slide. So, Domantas Sabonis, surprise. I feel like everyone thinks I'm hard for Domantas Sabonis. Not a Kings fan. Not even a Domantas Sabonis fan. I just can't move past the fact that he gets a lot of assists. And the Kings play through him a lot. He's one of the only centers that can come out to the key. He fake shoots a lot. And he passes a lot. He can pass from the key. He's one of the best passing centers in the league. When you watch highlights of him, that's really where the benefit of having on your team comes from, because you need to crowd him at the key. because he can distribute and he has really good court vision. And he's strong. So that's the main value that I believe Domantas Sabonis brings to the team, is the fact that he can stretch the floor because he will shoot a three, but also if you pass to him at the top of the key, he can pass it anywhere without looking. Yeah, and like I've said before, he has incredible hands. Anything noteworthy? Adjusted assists, this is always kind of interesting to me. So he has 8.2 assists. He gets a lot of assists. Remember, led the league in triple doubles. Not that triple doubles matter, not that I care. Triple doubles, who cares? It's just 3 things over 2 digits. I don't care. Nevertheless, led the league in triple doubles. Great assists. But his adjusted assists are 8.9. That means he's not getting a lot of secondary assists. He's passing to a guy that shoots and scores a lot. I don't know what that necessarily tells you, but he's not involved in a lot of hockey assists or free throw assists. He dishes out to guys who make baskets. What it says is that the Kings can shoot. They can score. Look at the data. I don't know. Tell me if the Kings have the best offense in the league. I think it's up there because I think their defense is bad, right? I can't retain all this information. I don't know everything about the NBA. I watch like a game and a half every night on League Pass. That's about how much NBA I consume. I will never watch 2 full games of basketball any night. That's too much basketball. LeBron James. Here's the thing. If you watch assist compilations of LeBron James, he's the best passer of all time. He's unbelievable. He has the best court vision of any player that I've ever seen. And this is coming from a guy who will watch 1.5 games a night on League Pass. I've watched a lot of basketball. I've watched a lot of highlight compilations of assists. I've watched just about everyone. And he has eyes on the back of his head. And it is his best skill set, his ability to pass and his floor vision. And it's not even close. That's the funny thing. When you're so good at everything, and you bring up the one thing you think they're best at, you think you're sort of disparaging everything else they do, when it's not true. He's incredible at everything. But if you watch highlights of like his court vision, he knows where everyone is all the time. It's like he has memory. So he catches the ball and he's facing away from the hoop. It's like you have to remember, right? Because he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head. So when he's turned facing away, he has a memory of where everyone is. From the time when he was looking this way, he's thinking about, oh, I remember where everyone is right now, and he can pass the ball behind his head. So I guess I'm kind of saying he is the best passer, but I can't say he's the best passer because he doesn't pass enough. Like we have here, passes made, one of the lowest of all these guys. He isn't passing a lot. The real tragic thing is he could lead the league in assists, because look at all the potential assists. 8.3 assists. He's the opposite of Sabonis. Think about it. If he has 8.3 assists a game and he has 13.2 potential assists, that means the people he's passing the ball to are missing it a lot. Because let's look at Sabonis. Sabonis 8.2. Potential assists 8.9. Or no, 12.7. So LeBron is passing the ball to guys that are missing shots a lot. So you're like, I wish he had more. Because you think about that, you're like, man, he doesn't have a whole lot of assists. The assists, it's a two-way street. The guy's got to make the shot. And the Lakers suck. I mean, they don't suck. I shouldn't say they suck. They're professional athletes. They're really good. I will say, LeBron is passing the ball to players on the Lakers who are missing the shots more than the guys that are receiving passes from Domantas Sabonis on the Kings. How's that? Nobody sucks. Nobody sucks at basketball in the NBA. I think we're done here. Harden. One thing, Harden definitely has unnecessarily flashy passes. I think his best work is done at the rim, is what I'll say. He has very quick reflexes still. And, he's not step back James Harden anymore. He's distributing at the rim James Harden. Still an incredible ball handler, still an incredible passer. Most of what he does, though, is at the rim. And his ability to dish at the rim and improvise on the fly. There's a guy coming up who I've noticed is not as great at improvising on the fly as James Harden, even though he is higher up on this list as a passer. But that's what he does. Also, James Harden adds a little bit of flair when he passes, because sometimes I wonder, he does a lot of the whip, and like there's just certain movements where you think, okay, it actually looked cooler that he kind of like flung it like that when he didn't necessarily need to. He could have done something a little more classic. He'll do the over the head chuck, and maybe these are necessary. They look cool. They add a little bit of interesting element to it. Like, did he have to go and huck it over and do a bounce pass like that when he's passing the ball? I don't know. Did it look cooler than anything else he could have done? It also did. So he adds a little bit of sauce to his, I think game in general, right? Nothing particularly interesting here other than, he's lower on the passes made list of a lot of the guys on the list. So, only 16 points for James Harden anymore. Still playing 34 minutes a game. He's just moved into that role as the playmaker, It's fascinating to me that he was just such an incredible scorer, getting like 60 a night back in 2018, 2017, 2018. Just every night you look at the league leaders on the daily, who you knew it was going to be James Harden. You knew he was going to have the most points. You were just wondering, is he going to go for 50 or 60 every night? He just racked up the points, man. And then to watch him be 17 points a game, still playing 34 minutes, it's a different type of basketball player. And I think you have to admire that, because the game changed. He had to adapt the way he played. So I'm still a Harden guy, and I'm curious about the Clippers, what that's going to look like. I've been thinking about them a lot, and I'm glad they re-signed Harden. I think he should have stayed in Philly. If you think about it, whatever Philly was offering him when he turned down that extension, he should have just, I bet it was more than I bet it was a longer deal than what he's on now. I think he's on a 2-year deal with the Clippers. He should have stayed in Philly. But it's an ego thing, right? Because at this point, with the way they played last year, he's probably fine signing whatever he signed with at the Clippers. But in reality, he probably should have just stayed in Philly. He could have made more money. But I think the fact that he was wink, wink, promised more money and didn't get it, you have a little bit of resentment. You just feel like someone got one over on you. But I like him in LA. I'm happy he's there. Gonna go see him at the Toilet Bowl this year. I don't know who's all calling him that, but Steve Ballmer bragging about how many toilets were going to be in there, and then also the ring around the stadium, there's like a big LED screen, and they put water going around, so it looks like a toilet. So start that. Call the Intuit Dome the Toilet Bowl. Help me. Fred. Fred, to me, is better at passing than Jalen Brunson, but he is slower. He is slightly better at passing than Brunson, but he is not as good of a scorer. So he can't shoot like Brunson. He's not as fast as Brunson, but he is a slightly better passer, I have to say. But they have very similar games, and it could be that he's a better passer just because he's forced to pass more because he's less able to create his own shot than Jalen Brunson. But he passes more. They have the same style of play, though. They look exactly the same. They're short guys, short, stocky guys, but Brunson has the speed and he's a little more agile and gets open a little bit more. Is that all I have to say? Oh, okay. I didn't want to blast through this Fred VanVleet slide when I just talked about the toilet bowl for 2 minutes. Doesn't turn the ball over for a point guard. He has 1.7 turnovers per game. That is so incredibly low. He does not turn the ball over. So let's just get a quick comparison. So he's high. I have him on the green for assist to turnover ratio. Let's go back to Harden, 3.32. Because he's getting 2.6 turnovers a game, 8.5 assists. Fred basically has the same amount of assists, but 1.7 turnovers. He does not turn the ball over. Turnovers are crucial. They will ruin your team. Same thing with defensive rebounding. If you're not getting defensive rebounds, they ruin your team. And it's something I feel like we don't talk about enough. Second chance points. Sometimes you'll see a team where they'll have a terrible shooting night. They'll have an abysmal shooting night. They'll shoot so badly. And then you look and you're like, yeah, but they got tons of defensive rebounds. Like, wow, that team was really good, but man, no one shot very well. They got defensive rebounds. If you can shoot the ball twice, you're gonna double whatever. If you could get the ball back. If you're getting defensive rebounds on every play, think about it. You can shoot half as good and still have the same amount of points. What was I talking about? Why am I talking about defensive rebounds? And the slide is Fred VanVleet. Oh, because turnovers and defensive rebounds are things people don't talk about enough. LeBron, actually, let's go back to LeBron. Because LeBron actually has a lot of turnovers. And, 3.5 turnovers a game. So he has double the turnovers that Fred VanVleet does. And again, LeBron's my favorite player. Or I don't know anymore. He's up there. He was my favorite player. I don't know if he is anymore. But I have to call out LeBron for having pretty bad assist to turnover. I think he is the worst on this list. He turns the ball over a lot. Still good. But hey, this is team basketball analysis on YouTube. So Nikola Jokic probably thought he was number one. Probably, right? You probably already scrubbed the video because you wanted to see who was number one. And if you did, you probably already clicked off because you're like, I just want to see who this guy had at number one. Jokic is at 4. He gets 9 assists a game, which is really good. It's not at the top, though. He makes the most passes. That's why he's so high on this list, is he definitely makes the most passes. And it's close, but it's him. Potential assists, guys are making shots on his team. Or no, they're not. Not necessarily. So 9 assists. He could be at 14.9. Rough shooting year for Denver, I guess. Might have led the league in assists had guys sank more threes. But I guess they didn't. I don't know. Or they just didn't sink the threes that Jokic passed. So adjusted assists, 10.7. Decent, 2.9. I mean, Jokic turns the ball over quite a bit too. But when you have the ball most of the time in your hands, like a LeBron, like a Jokic, you're going to turn the ball over. Why do I say that? I'm not picking on either of these guys because they're really good. I'm just saying you should, if you haven't already given the applause to Fred VanVleet, you should. Because he's secure with the rock, He doesn't fumble the bag. Yeah, I guess that's all I have on Jokic. I think Jokic has another similar, when you look at assist highlights from Jokic, very similar to LeBron. And I think what he does best is he can pass the ball, he can fully release the ball and make you believe that he shot it when he actually passed it. And that's the most impressive thing of his game. And you really notice how much your body language plays into what the other team reads. If you can the entire time make it look like you're shooting, have the entire body language of a shot, but the only difference is the way you flicked your wrist, it was not a shot. It was a pass. It will throw everyone off. And it makes it clear that misleading with your body language puts you at a major advantage in basketball. If you can do things without looking, you can create a lot of open looks. And that's one of the many reasons Nikola Jokic is one of the best players of all time. He's been so good at assists. If you watch assist highlights from Jokic, you'll go 5 years ago, back when he was just becoming an all-star. Back when he was, I believe, it's funny, I think in 2019 he was first team All-NBA. I remember when people were sniffing this, and I think it was Bill Simmons talked about his observations of watching him play, and he noticed that there was a level of skill this guy had already that was the best in the league at certain aspects of his game. That's back when people would just clown him because he was, their words not mine, fat and bad at defense. 2 things that you would have to say he's not anymore. So that was my biggest observation about Jokic and his passing game, is the ability to manipulate his body language to make you believe he's doing something he's not. Luka. Here's my problem with Luka. Okay, Luka Lots of assists, man, and everything goes through him. He could have 16.9 assists a game. That's really high. I have it in green. A lot of missed shots. Of course, he passes a lot. And you also don't know, sometimes he's passing the ball. It might be a bad pass. It might be a grenade. It might be an end of shot clock pass. So you don't want to blame every guy that he's passing to and say, hey, why aren't you making these shots? He's like, well, this guy hucked the ball, at my knee with 2 seconds on the shot clock. So what was I supposed to do? Yeah, I bricked it. So I don't know. I don't want to blame all the Mavs guys for not making the shots when Luka passes it to him. But one observation I made about him, Luka drives the lane a lot, knowing he's going to pass. Okay? He passes to a guy on the perimeter over his head like this. So it looks good. It looks good. It looks pretty crazy. It looks, how did he do that? How did he know he was there? But when you watch those highlights, you realize that he's driving the lane, and they work on these plays all the time. So you see all the guys that they're in their spots. So Luka goes ISO, he drives the lane, he knows where everyone is. And I think before he even drives the lane, he knows who the most open person is. So I think a lot of times he's not even thinking about shooting the ball. He already knows. He's like, as soon as I even sniff that I'm getting collapsed on, even if the best option is for me to try to put up a layup, I'm going to throw it behind my head to Dante Exum. Are we good here? Creates a lot of points. What am I going to say? Now we're getting to the point. Okay, Trey Young, one of my favorite players of all time. What I think the most impressive player to watch is Trey Young, because he's short and he's incredibly skilled. I think he has the most skill with the ball of any player. He's not the best shooter, but I think in terms of passing and dribbling, I think he's the best. I have to give it to him. Doesn't pass the ball a lot, but still gets 10.8 assists a game. Second most in the league in assists. I think he's led the league in assists, not per game, but total assists before. Could have 18.2 potential, so could even have more. Of all the players in the league, he has the most potential for assists, so it's not his fault. Well, it could be his fault if he's, like I said, if he's making bad passes, but he has a lot of potential assists and creates a lot of points. What did I have to say about... Again, similar to, who else was I saying? It's similar to Harden in that way, where he just can figure it out in a moment. Within milliseconds, figure out what his best option is when he's at the rim. And knowing where everyone is and knowing where to place the ball. Ball placement, I think he's just the best at it. Because if you think about passing, it's really the same skill set as shooting. You have a larger area of where to put the ball, but you need to be able to control the speed at which you throw the ball. It's like more of a finesse game, because once you release on a shot, it's going to the same spot. And you pretty much don't have to worry about anyone getting in the way of it because of goaltending, right? As long as you can get it out, once it's 10 feet in the air, it's however you shot it. It's all entirely up to, but passing is a similar skill set. You're trying to get the ball to a certain place. You just have to make sure, obviously where the position is and the speed at which the ball is going, and be hyper aware of the movement of your own teammates. So it's similar. It's very similar. And as I was watching a lot of these assist highlights, that was the main thing I noticed, especially when you watch floaters, because a floater is just a lob pass that its intention was to go through the hoop. That's what made it click to me. Again, I love Trey Young. I love his game. And he's easy. Also, when you're looking for GIFs on the internet, GIFs, however you want to say it, it's easy to find passing highlight GIFs of Trey Young, because he does it a lot. Same thing with Luka. Yes, Tyrese Haliburton is the best passer in the league. I didn't even know. I didn't want to give it to him. I actually had Trey Young number 1, and then as I was going through and sort of ranking and color coding all this, I was like, oh, no, it's Tyrese Haliburton. And it's not even close. He played more games than Trey, so there was no way I could ever give it to Trey Young. He led the league in assists this year. Assist leader, yeah. And he made 70 passes a game. Potential, and his teammates were making shots, because his potential assists were lower than Trey's, and he had more assists. So, Hawks, not as good of a shooting team as the Indiana Pacers. That's how I discovered that. Also, one of the best assist to turnover ratios in the league. Here's the thing. He would be at number 1, but this is a tough one to rank him at because you're going to have guys in the league that have a 1,200. Who are going to have a 12 assist ratio, right? Because they got in, they made 12 assists without a turnover in one game or in a couple games. And that was their, they got lucky, basically. Played in 2 games, got 6 assists in each game, never turned the ball over. So it's sort of hard to rank. So I think if you were to average out guys that played over, 500 minutes this year, is that crazy? 500, 400 minutes this year, Tyrese Haliburton had the best assist to turnover ratio. He did not turn over the ball. He also created the most points with his assists. And he is one of the guys, though, and he even admits this, he makes assists when he should pass. He does. He makes assists when he should shoot. I misspoke. This video's getting long. So, yeah, he does pass up semi-open buckets to get his teammates the ball. And I don't think it's just because he's trying to be the best passer in the league or the best playmaker in the league. I think he just does it because he's a generous guy. That's my thought. Ben from Thinking Basketball talked about this on a podcast, and he had noticed that he jumps. Every time he passes, he jumps. And he's always he's in the air when he's even if he's not in the air a whole lot, he's in the air when he passes. And he also does this thing. Here's him on the Kings doing it. He does the twirl pass. He has the most showmanship with his passing. He didn't have to do all. He was doing way too much, but it does look cool. He does the pass and then I'm gonna hit mine. You know what I mean? He does the twirl. He didn't got to do it, but it does look cool. But it's overdoing it with the body language, but I like it. It doesn't look cool if it's if you do it and you turn the ball over, like you pass to the other team, it's gonna look like you're gonna look lame. But I'm all for showboating. I think showboating is good because it sets expectations for you. If you gloat, now you have to live up to it, or it's going to be furthermore embarrassing. I think that's why Noah Lyles does it. Now we're not talking about basketball, but I like that he sort of has the cocky attitude because I think subconsciously he's saying, I want to make this hard for myself, and I want to make this more embarrassing when I lose because I'm going to build myself up a lot. So I like flashiness. I like Tyrese Haliburton. Thanks for being here. Be good to your mothers. Eat a corn dog. Video's done.